She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Psychological horror is a subgenre of horror that's characterized by its ability to unsettle the viewer through the use of psychoanalysis and causing emotional and psychological distress. Psychoanalysis, an approach to psychology created by Sigmund Freud in the 1890s, is an ideology that defines the genre and involves the interactions of the conscious and unconscious mind. In horror films, this usually shows up as trying to get inside the audience's head and make them think, could someone like me really do that? We can see this at play throughout Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film, Psycho. At the beginning of the film, Marion runs away from everything she knows with a wad of cash, makes some risky choices while talking with the police, and sets the world record for fastest car trade-in, all in the first 25 minutes of the movie. Between the risks she takes and the urgency of her situation, the viewer can tend to feel a sense of anxiety or panic because of how fast this all happens. On the other hand, we can understand how she feels because the majority of us would love to run away from life. Because we can relate to her situation, it allows the filmmakers to use this and other techniques all the more efficiently. As for motifs and formal elements, music is one that plays a large part in horror films as a whole, and is even more important in psychological horror. For example, near the start of the film, the second Marion begins to drive away from the cop, the music kicks in with a dramatic sting, making us feel wary of the cop and anxious of the situation. This is so effective because those of us who drive know how anxiety-inducing it can be to drive by a cop, nonetheless be followed by one. Filmmakers in this genre use both music and relatability to drive the horror. Another important factor of the genre is mentally unstable characters such as Norman Bates. These characters are often used to force the audience to wrestle with psychoanalysis and ideally leads them to comparing themselves with that character. This again uses relatability to drive the horror and prompts personal reflection. Psychological horror also uses the technique of slowing down movement before dramatic action or reveal, such as being killed, and then speeding up once the dramatic action has begun. This can be seen a few times throughout the film, but the shower scene is probably the most notable. All of these aspects combined lead to the viewer feeling uncomfortably similar to the characters in the film and help to achieve the film's goal of creating horror through psychology.